why two friends are fighting over this poor boy. Hello guys, today we bring you another fascinating movie to your screen. This movie will definitely blow your mind, and I am pretty sure you will love it. But before we dive in, why don't you grab some snacks and also subscribe to this channel for more fascinating movies from us? This movie begins with a prophetess named Sister Ruth, who woke a young girl, Mabel, from sleep with a cane. Sister Ruth was aggressive towards Mabel. Without caution, she told Mabel that she was possessed by a demon, the same demon that killed her parents. Mabel was deeply hurt and shunned Sister Ruth. Meanwhile, in another part of the city, a young lady named Cassie was talking to her father, Mr. Festus, about a party she wanted to attend. But her father refused and sternly sent her to her room. As Cassie grumbled and turned to go, she ran into Juliana, the housekeeper, without apologizing. The next day, Mabel went out to buy food when Cassie saw her. They were so happy to see each other and exchanged pleasantries. Cassie noticed how Mabel looked and wasn't pleased. Mabel explained how she had been going through a lot. Cassie felt pity for her and gave her some cash to take care of herself. Mabel thanked her, and then Cassie left. Not long after, a young man named John also came to see Mabel. They exchanged pleasantries, talked for a while, and then he offered to drop her off at her place. When Mabel got to her destination, she thanked John. As she got to the gate, Sister Ruth saw her holding some money. It was too late for Mabel to hide it. Sister Ruth forcefully collected the money from her. Inside, Mabel knelt down in tears while Sister Ruth prayed for her. Some days later, they took Mabel to the riverside to pray for her with canes. Mabel found an opportunity to run away, and they chased after her. She ran straight to Cassie's house for safety. With tears in her eyes, she told Cassie she didn't want to go back to Sister Ruth because she felt like a prisoner. Cassie consoled her. Later that same day, Cassie's father came back from work. Cassie welcomed him, and Mabel also greeted him. Mabel later excused herself so Cassie could talk to her father. Cassie told her father about Mabel's predicament and begged him to let Mabel stay with them. He agreed. Cassie hugged him excitedly and went to tell Mabel, who was also very happy. Cassie told her about the party and insisted she should go with her. The next day, Brother Thomas and Sister Ruth came from the church to take Mabel back. But Cassie's father, who understood the law, made them realize they would lose the case. When Mabel was asked where she wanted to stay, she chose Cassie's home. Cassie's father then gave them 1 million naira to leave, and they accepted it in peace. The following day, Mabel admired Cassie's style of dressing, and Cassie insisted they should go shopping. Later that night, John's car broke down in front of Cassie's house. He was lucky to see her. After exchanging pleasantries, he expressed his long-hidden feelings for her since their school days. But Cassie was harsh and humiliated him. The next day, John, lost in thought, told his friend about his encounter with Cassie. He wished to find someone who would accept him as he was. His friend mentioned a party he was organizing where Cassie would be present. The next day, Mabel wasn't comfortable with the clothes Cassie wanted her to wear, but she had no choice. When Cassie was about to leave, her father stopped her, saying the outfit was indecent. He raised his voice, but eventually, Cassie and Mabel left. On their return, Cassie's father insisted that Juliana should go with them next time. Though she grumbled, Juliana had no choice but to comply. That night after the party, Cassie was angry at the way Juliana spoke to her. John came to express his feelings again, but Cassie looked down on him, insulted him, and walked away. Juliana dragged her out while Mabel consoled John before leaving. Weeks later, Brother Thomas and Sister Ruth returned to Mr. Festus, demanding to take Mabel back. They indirectly admitted they needed her for the church. But when Mr. Festus showed them the recording he had of their previous conversation, they became afraid and left with excuses. Months later, it was Cassie's 18th birthday. After singing, she began making wishes, but her father disapproved. Still, they enjoyed the celebration after cutting the cake. One weekend, Juliana told Cassie that her father had traveled for an urgent meeting. Cassie didn't believe it until she called her father, who confirmed he would be away for almost a month. Excited, Cassie shared the news with Mabel, saying they now had their freedom. Juliana advised them not to misuse the opportunity, but Cassie insisted on catching up with the latest party. But here's the question. Between Mabel and Cassie, who will truly win John's heart in the end. The next day, Cassie went to the gatekeeper and requested that he teach her how to drive. She claimed she was the next in charge, but since she wasn't the one who employed him, the gatekeeper refused until he got confirmation from his boss. Cassie angrily walked away. One night, Cassie and Mabel went to a restaurant where John also showed up. He greeted them and expressed his feelings for Cassie, but she insulted him, called him names, and left him in shame. Sister Ruth, who saw Mabel there, began condemning her and her dressing. When things got out of hand, a young man named Samuel stepped in and rescued Cassie and Mabel. Sister Ruth left after being threatened. Cassie insisted on getting Samuel's number, which he gave her. Days later, Cassie became restless about reaching out to Samuel. She confessed to Mabel how much she loved him, believing he would take care of her. She called him, introduced herself, and boldly declared her love, reminding him that she was 18 years old. Samuel cautioned her to take things slowly. Weeks later, Cassie called Samuel while he was watching football. When she complained that he wasn't taking her seriously, he apologized to her. One day, Cassie went out with Samuel at a restaurant. She tried to kiss him in public, but Mabel, who was nearby, excused herself. Samuel stopped Cassie from kissing him, saying it would harm his business reputation. Cassie transferred 500,000 naira to him and insisted, but he still refused. When she accused him of cheating, Samuel walked out. Meanwhile, John and Mabel, who were also there, quietly observed everything. Samuel later told Cassie that if she couldn't keep things private, their relationship couldn't continue. Out of anger, Cassie called Mabel and stormed out. She poured water on John, insulted him, and left. At home, she scolded Mabel for talking to John, calling him classless. But Mabel defended John, saying he was a man of his own. Later, John called Mabel, checked on her, and asked to meet her the next day. His kind words touched Mabel. That night, Cassie reconciled with Samuel and planned to meet him the next day. The following morning, John came to pick Mabel up, but the gatekeeper mocked his car before letting him in. When Cassie saw him, she made fun of him and walked off. Mabel came out, complimented John, and left with him. Meanwhile, Cassie waited for hours for Samuel to show up. When he finally arrived, she was angry, but he calmed her down. They left together. At a restaurant, Mabel told John about her past struggles and how Cassie and her father saved her from her worst nightmare. She also mentioned her desire to learn how to drive, and John promised to teach her. Meanwhile, Cassie became frustrated with Samuel after learning that he stayed in a hotel. Samuel lied to her about a business challenge and claimed he needed 500,000 naira. He manipulated her into lying to her father, and out of love, Cassie did it. She gave Samuel the money, and they went out enjoying themselves. The next day, Cassie was mean to Juliana, but Mabel spoke kindly to her. This touched Juliana, and she gave Mabel extra meat during dinner. When Cassie tried to get more for herself, Juliana threatened to report her to Mr. Festus. Later, Mabel told Cassie that she only hung out with John as a friend. Cassie brushed it off and told her to do whatever she liked. Not long after, Samuel called Cassie again. This time, she told him she wanted to take things slow because of her fear of pregnancy. Samuel agreed, and they planned to meet soon. The next day, John came to pick Mabel up for driving lessons. Hours later, after spending time together, John confessed his feelings for her. Shocked, Mabel walked away without a word. Later, inside John's car, she apologized, but John told her to take her time before deciding. On another day, Cassie called Samuel, but he yelled at her for posting their pictures online. He threatened to end the relationship if she didn't delete them. Cassie, fed up, broke up with him herself. Days later, Cassie went to Sister Ruth. After apologizing and reconciling, she revealed her wicked plan to send Mabel to the bush since she would eventually move out anyway. Cassie bribed Sister Ruth with 2 million naira, and Sister Ruth agreed to carry out the plan. But here's the question. Will Mabel fall into Cassie's wicked trap, or will fate turn things around in her favor? One day, Cassie packed up Mabel's belongings and asked her to leave the house because she overheard what Mabel said on the phone with someone, and she was happy that Mabel had broken up. Mabel pleaded with her, but Cassie refused. She even collected the phone she had bought for Mabel before sending her away. Meanwhile, John tried to reach out to Mabel, but her number was not going through. Days later, Cassie's father called to ask about Mabel, but Cassie lied to him that Mabel had stolen her expensive watch, so she sent her away. Her father scolded her for taking such actions without consulting him. Not long after, John came to check on Mabel since her number wasn't reachable. Cassie began saying a lot of negative things about Mabel, but John refused to believe her. She even tried to seduce him and expressed her love for him. But because of the humiliation she had put him through in the past, John walked away. Still, he continued trying to reach Mabel, but got no response. One day, Samuel came to see Cassie, and after some sweet moments together, they went into her room. Samuel then tried to force himself on Cassie, but she resisted. He became harsh and revealed that he had only been after her father's money for his business. He demanded that she undress so he could take her nude pictures to blackmail her father into compliance. While he tried to force her, Juliana rushed in and hit Samuel on the head with a bottle. He fainted, and they quickly called the police, who arrested him. Days later, John was able to find Mabel's location after paying off Sister Ruth. When he saw her, he hugged her tightly, and they both expressed their love for each other before leaving together. 2 days later, Cassie apologized to everyone she had offended or spoken to harshly, and they all forgave her. When her father returned, he shared the good news that he was sending both Cassie and Mabel to the United States to complete their studies. They were both very happy. Since he also knew John, who had saved him some days back from losing a huge contract, he promised to reward him in his office. He also rewarded his staff, and everyone appreciated him greatly. The moral lesson of this movie is that lies, pride, and bad choices can ruin destinies, but humility, forgiveness, and honesty will always bring restoration. Thanks for watching. Please don't forget to subscribe for more fascinating movies from us. Bye!